This is the Teesside World News with Harrison Tweed and Fiona Chalfont.
Good evening. The top stories tonight. Beloved Acklam grandma's head stolen by Madame Tussauds as new face of Putin.
It's only sexual harassment when you don't fancy the perpetrator, claims Eston magistrate.
Ragworth man caught Snapchatting 7-year-old Labrador accused of pet grooming. But we start with this. There is to be a new government department dedicated to saying sorry. The new Ministry of Apologies started off by tackling a backlog of apologies for the weather, the trains down that London, and the current political shambles. We now go over live to a press conference where the new Minister for Apologies, Lady Victoria Percival, has just started speaking.
We would like to apologise to the families affected by insert reason here. Although we do our best to ensure it never happens, sometimes insert reason here does crop up. We will begin an inquiry to be led by insert name of friend of Prime Minister here. We have implemented systems to ensure it never happens again. By implemented systems, we mean we have re-implemented the exact same systems. Thank you.
Lady Percival, the new Minister for Apologies. It is thought that most inquiries will take 20 years and are expected to blame something like market forces or poor communication, but definitely not criminal activity by the ultra-rich.
The Argent Bank is the latest corporate giant to buy a Pacific island. Our Pacific Islands correspondent, Clemency Virtue, has more.
This is the small uninhabited Pacific island of Torallour, until recently owned by the United States and now owned by Friedrich Scarfinger, head of shadiness at the Argent Bank. At the top of that mountain, a brand new complex is being built by Mr. Scarfinger for a reputed $3 billion, which seems to include a large silo. Mr. Scarfinger released a statement earlier which said, "Ha! You fools, soon it will all be mine. Mine, I tell you." When I asked for clarification, he said he has bought the island for himself and his cat, Mr. Pershing, and that the silo is merely to house a supply of kitty treats. When asked if he expected the taxpayer to foot the bill, he said, "No, I expect him to die." This is Clemency Virtue in Torallour. Back to you in the studio, Fiona.
Eye testing is to be made an annual occurrence rather than every 2 years as it is currently. The move has been branded a money-making scheme by critics. With me in the studio earlier to defend the move was Dr. Gabriel Fresnel, Government Advisor on Optical Matters. Dr. Fresnel, how do you respond to these criticisms?
Well, looking at it one way, you could say that millions of people are going to have increased access to high standards of optical healthcare. Looking at it through another lens, you could say we're going to have millions of more pounds to invest in better technology and increasing standards.
I fail to see how you can justify these charges annually, though.
Okay, well, how about if I do this?
No.
And how about now?
Oh yes, now that is better. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fresnel.
Harry Styles, the frontman of One Direction, has been advised to stay indoors. Our music correspondent Lucy Tonics has more.
Harry Styles has been deleting it in One Direction since 2010. Ever since they won the X Factor, global warming has increased. I asked the scientists why.
Every time Harry Styles appears either on stage or in the media, an area of Arctic ice the size of 2 Middlesbroughs disappears. This reached critical level last month and we had to issue a severe weather warning.
Harry Styles' mum says he can only perform gigs in his room now. Lucy Tonics reporting there.
Tesco Ingleby Barwick is to open another branch of Tesco just in front of the Tesco in Ingleby Barwick. Manager Margaret Pavey said, "Why should customers have to wait until they are actually inside the store before they can start shopping?" Some of our customers are just too busy to walk the last 100 yards before they need to shop. The branch, which is due to open in autumn 2017, also contains an opticians and more public lavatories. In related news, Starbucks will be opening a branch of the coffee chain within the public lavatories at a local branch of Tesco, which opens in Ingleby Barwick in 2017. A spokesperson said time is at a premium these days. Why should our customers have to wait until after they visit the bathroom to have a delicious cup of fresh coffee?
David Cross, the singer of one of Kirk Levington's leading thrash metal bands, Unnatural Causes, admitted yesterday that throughout his 20-year career, he has mainly growled his songs. We caught up with him at his home.
I always say I write for the rainforest, but basically it's just growling. Apart from that one time, I barked like a dog, but that was for the Full Moon concept album, which went to number 2 in Montevideo, don't forget.
Of the 85 tracks on their latest release, only one track features a singing style other than growling, and that is a duet with Carol Decker, formerly of T'Pow.
Carol growled a little bit, but it just didn't sound quite right, so we just used the normal voice. She has the voice of an angel anyway. I love Carol. I love her. You know what I mean?
The 4 original members of Unnatural Causes got the band together in 1970 at Egglescliffe School. They've had a few members come and go since then, though. Gary Gentleman, the original bass player, left in the 90s to write sitcom idents for Jerry Seinfeld. Their early guitarist Eddie Lendrick left to set up his own mystical religion, Lendrology. And tragically Sticky, the drummer on the Take Me to Your Bleeder tour, was heavily involved in the rock and roll lifestyle and wandered off one day, never to be seen again.
I've been calling you for 10 minutes, there's your tea.
Sorry, love. Can we cut that out? Hey, man. What do you think of the table? Custom made. It's covered in fur. It's not real fur. I don't want to look a complete prick, do I? You know what I mean, man?
A Cross-Eyed Bear, the official David Cross story, is now available for download on Kobo and is soon to be a movie on the Hallmark Channel.
Unnatural Causes are currently appearing on stage alongside Duncan Norvell in Songs from the Shows at Billingham Forum.
The Sprouts' reign of terror is to end, as Sprout production will cease from September this year, according to the Sprout Marketing Board. Head Sprout scientist Dr. Anthony McLennan talked to us earlier.
Yeah, we're giving up. We've been trying to get the public to accept these for 75 years, with absolutely no success. I ate one the other day, and after I analysed the vomit, I thought, yeah, they're right. These things are horrible.
Sprouts were invented in 1942 as part of the since mothballed vegetable weaponisation programme.
Mutant resident Clive Bate was dismayed this week when it was revealed that flying saucers are not genuine interstellar craft, but are in fact just yummy sherbety sweets. Clive had been convinced of an imminent alien attack when he first noticed the sweets back in the 1970s. Clive, 97, who cannot be named for embarrassment reasons, converted his shed into a shelter and has been living there ever since, saving nearly £1 million on rent and bills. They used to laugh at me for this, he said, but they're not laughing now. To be honest, most of them are dead. A global explorer from Stokesley has become the first person to scale Mount Popocatépetl in Chile. We are incredibly lucky to have Dame Hilary Blount Comfort with us in the studio today in her first interview since her return. Dame Hilary, Mount Popocatépetl was thought to be unclimbable due to its fierce volcanic heat and poisonous emissions. How did you manage it?
Have you ever found yourself halfway up a volcano and had to give birth?
I believe you had some assistance in the climb from a local indigenous tribe.
Did you ever have to meet up with the chief of a South American tribe only to discover she was your mother?
I understand supplies ran low at one point, Dame Hilary.
Did you ever have to cut yourself out of a plastic bag when you were a baby? The fire snakes!
Dame Hilary Blount Comfort, thank you. And the closing headlines tonight: life-sized chocolate AK-47s being sold to Hardwick under 5s.
Ghost of Jeremy Beadle plays tricks on Fairfield mum.
And alien spacecraft residue is found on Thornaby Grassy Knoll.
Join us here later for the 10 o'clock news. Goodbye.